this is the kit that we're talking about. This is Wayne's kit. I got this one from Wayne. Saltire will provide you the exact same thing because he gets them from Wayne. It's just a matter that Wayne is in Bahrain, Saltire is in the UK. So the kit that you get has both of the light pod bushings. You need three of the little pills per gear. Now I have here a gear that I have purchased, that I have acquired through other means, and the three little pills fit in these corners of the gear. Now the motor itself has a little rod that goes through this hole and then touches the three pills in there and pushes the whole gear outwards. So what happens is, if these three pills are worn, they may spin or not spin, but imagine if it's a half moon instead. An half moon in this position will just not allow the motor to spin, but if the half moon turns around and goes into this position, you may have it to work. So what can happen is that as the motor spins, it may spin this for a bit, and then it catches on and then makes the whole gear move about. So that's why sometimes you'll get the motor to work and sometimes it won't work, but usually you will hear it trying to catch on for a bit before it moves, and at some point in time it will just stop catching on completely. So when you take apart the motor, what you're going to find is that you may have pills, but they won't be this size, and you may just have shavings. And that's why most of the time the motors stop working. The motors are here. This is the motor itself. To remove it, you need to go through the wheel arch, and the motor on the other side is here. Straightforward tasks. So I've got two kits from Wayne. I've got a kit for my car and I got a spare one for a friend that didn't need it in the end. So the kits have gasket seals for the two sides of the motor. So one is for the left side and the other one is for the right side of the motor, each motor. Each kit has enough pills for for both motors. You will not receive the gears with Wayne's kits, and I don't know where you can get them from, but if need be, I reckon we can probably 3D print these. But that's just a different story altogether. So if you have a problem with the light pods not raising, this is the most common reason. Now, if your light pods don't raise and you don't hear the motor spinning and you don't see this little knob spinning, then you need to look for that. And that is what's the name of it? I forgot now. The lift module, the light pod lift module. This module is the part of the system that is responsible for telling the motors to power up. It recognizes if the motor is stalling or not when it's fully raised or fully lowered, and then stops powering up the motor in order to not kill the motor. So if you have a problem where only one of the light pods raises and the other one doesn't work at all, what you need to do is unplug here, and you can just provide 12 volts directly to the motor. If the motor is spinning and it raises and lowers, when you provide 10 volts directly here, then you know that the motor is fine and your problem is going to be there. That is just a lot less likely, but I have had an issue with this one before, so they also happen. The pod delay module can also break. I never heard of anyone with that issue, and I don't even know where the pod delay module is. Actually, I do know where the pod delay module is. The pod delay module is next to the relays. There. Pod delay module. So it's under the footwell. You have the relays for the windows, and then after that, further up, you have the pod delay module to the right. but I never heard of this one breaking in my 6 years of ownership. So yeah, this is what you need to consider first before spending money on anything more expensive. Wayne's kits are, 80% of the time you'll get problems fixed with that, and then the rest would be the other two.